The first two, the Lijiang Tower and King's Row, are probably the best options.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, is everybody here who's going to be here?
One more
Hopefully
person might
one
arrive.
person shows up, but
Okay. Should we
one of our
wait or should we
members
just go
is
ahead?
not going to be here.
Probably
Okay.
just go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, well let's get started here. So, this is how I like to conduct VOD reviews. I like to go through the form first, just to kind of get anything out of the way, and then from there, I like to kind of get to know each of you guys, your role within the team, and then discuss what you guys think you would get the most out of not only the session, but what you guys feel like you're struggling with as a team. So we can kind of have a general framework of what we want to be looking at in the actual review portion. Then once we get to the review portion, obviously we're going to be looking at gameplay primarily, but also discussing some of the problems that we talked about prior or leading up to that while we're actually reviewing. So we kind of know what we're looking for in the review before we actually look at the review, if that makes sense. Okay, so 4.2K, you guys scrimmage 2 to 4 times per week. All right, sounds good. What do you hope to get out of the session? Overall better understanding of playing as a team. All right. Long-term, short-term goals. Short-term is better understanding on how to play the current meta, and the long-term, a better understanding of the fundamentals. Well, in terms of meta right now, I do think that we're in a pretty pokey / Brawl hybrid meta. I see a lot of Sig. I see a lot of Orisa. I still see Bastion when and where it's relevant in Brawl. I see a lot of Idiari. There's some poke characters as well. Obviously, Tracers is still a pretty decent character on maps that are broad enough for her. But I think more than anything else meta-wise, it's about playing around your strengths. And then long-term, a better understanding of the fundamentals. What fundamentals in particular? Now, I think, was it Milk? You filled out this form. I guess we could start with that. What fundamentals were you thinking about?
So honestly, that was like really early on in the season, so we hadn't figured a lot of stuff out.
Got it.
So it's probably better to ask Maba or Tree.
Okay. Sounds good. What do you hope to feel is holding back team from improving? You say understanding of rotations and aggression. Okay. So I don't think there's anything super crazy from the form that we need to be going over. I want to start to go down the list individually. So if you can introduce yourself, just give me how you pronounce your name, and then tell me your role within the team. That would be great. So is it Hasbula? Can start with you?
Oh, I'm just here. I'm not on the. I'm not
okay.
On
all right. You're just chilling.
Don't worry about me, man.
All right. Won't worry. All right.
I'm Maba Dogs. I'm the tank player for the team.
Maba Dogs. Okay.
I'm Milk. Right now I'm the Lucio player, but originally I was supposed to be Flex. So
Lucio Flex support. Okay, got it. And then Treehouse.
Yeah, I'm Tree. I play Flex DPS, a lot of Genji, some like Mei, that kind of thing.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay, so then that was a short list, so we can get right to this phase 2, which is Milk. What is wrong with your team? What is good? What is bad? If you were to prioritize 1 or 2 things that you think you guys would benefit the most from in the short term or long term, what would they be?
So I noticed a lot of the time we get really split on either like who we're going on, or we don't understand how to react to certain things. So like for me, for instance, I don't know when I should be going aggressive with like Tree, or when I should be peeling back for our other support.
Okay. Anything else? Because that's a big one.
Not off the top of my head, but I'm sure we'll see something.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Maba, your thoughts? You can echo what Milk said, but also any priorities of your own.
Maybe understanding like the ebb and flow of the fight, like when to go, like when to push into them, when to like we need to kite, sometimes.
Yeah.
I think I might just push in when really like the rest of the team's about to die. I'm just like, fine, like where are you guys at?
Okay. Makes sense. Split. So it sounds like a little bit like that. That seems to be an issue where sometimes you haven't engaged, but feels like you're not getting help because some of your team is disengaging, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. That's a classic tank problem, right? You need eyes at the back of your head and eyes forward at the same time. Okay, and then Tree, what are your thoughts, priorities? It could be totally different. Just curious.
Sometimes on certain heroes, I don't really know where to hold or like where to set up. And this kind of leads to me having like too much downtime in a fight where I'm like flanking or trying to get an off angle, but by the time I get there, it's like I've wasted too much time. The fight's over.
Okay, I don't know how to position. What heroes in particular?
A lot of the hit scan heroes I play, like Ashe and Sojourn, I'll try and set up on the high ground, but I'm not really sure like where exactly to set up, and then I'll try and get like an off angle like mid fight, and then it just doesn't work out because by the time I try and get there, the fight's already over. It's just like one particular thing. Another thing I need to work on probably is like ultimate usage, because sometimes I find it very hard to know when we are for sure gonna win fights and when I should save ults or when it's like kind of a more critical scenario and I need to use them.
Okay. Sure, fight win or lost. Anything team oriented? I know you're very focused on like where your shortcomings, sort of things that you're working on. But is there anything that more broadly as a team that you feel like you could work on?
We need to learn. We don't really understand the Sig comp, like like the Sig May kind of thing that's been played a lot lately. We've been playing a lot of the Zarya Genji, where you just bubble the Genji and he's like your second tank kind of comp. We've been getting really good at that, but then now it's kind of shifting to this poke Sigma stuff, and we don't really understand exactly how that's played or like what's the grand ideas behind it.
Sure, makes sense. Makes sense. What about you, Tree? Any big picture team stuff that's not necessarily, hey, I suck, which I respect, by the way.
I could get better at focus fire.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll call for like burn on a target, but I'm busy in like a 1v1 that I probably shouldn't even be taking or something like that,
Okay. I think sometimes it's okay to be split and target focused if you're in the middle of doing something important, but if it's something that you shouldn't be doing in the first place, then maybe something to keep an eye on. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get value, or sometimes I get value out of those like weird interactions, but sometimes it feels like if I just focused the main or like focused, whatever target we were calling, they probably might have just died. It's kind of hard to tell when to go and when to.
Okay. Yeah, it really is. Okay. Anything else come to mind, guys, while we were talking? Any of you three in particular? Okay.
Not a ton.
Sure. Is Aaron specking or is Aaron part of the team?
Oh, he is part of the team.
He's part of the team,
Yeah.
Okay, Aaron, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Aaron, and I.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I blank.
Oh, great! That's awesome. So I assume you're a support player then. Okay, and it's flex support.
Yeah.
Flex support. So, Aaron, we were just basically going down the list and being like, we suck at this. We need to improve at this. These are our priorities here. I, as an individual, need to practice this, or we as a team need to get better at this. If you were to prioritize like one or two things that you as a team needed to get better at, more, whether it's scrim focus or mentality or comps or understanding or communication, what would they be? I'm putting you on the spot here, I know.
Yeah. I think probably from what I've seen from previous scrims, maybe I think comps is something we can probably work on. I know that we've been like running like the Zarya comps and stuff like that, but sometimes we just kind of get dunked on and we're not exactly sure why.
Okay. While you are running the Zarya comp?
Yeah, while we're running the Zarya comp, and also sometimes we run, we call it photosynthesis.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Lifeweaver Alari.
Lifeweaver.
Oh, you guys are disgusting.
Doom.
Yeah, with the Doom too.
Oh, you guys are disgusting.
It's a really weird comp. I don't know how it was invented.
We play it on one map.
It's really not even good, but
yeah. But
I mean, I can see it. Okay, anything else come to mind that you feel like the team would benefit from? Priorities?
I think maybe we could probably just like work on like how to actually like play each comp, because I feel like sometimes when we need to take angles, it's really hard. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm just sort of speaking out my ass here, but
yeah. Well, I mean, you might not know the solution, but you're like, at least something feels wrong when we do X. That's still helpful.
Another team problem, I think.
Yep.
We seem to get tilted a lot. Sometimes during scrims.
Okay. And under what circumstances, or is it totally like RNG?
Well, it's usually not me, so you might have to ask some of the other.
Okay, peasants. Why do we get tilted?
Anything
come to mind?
I get
Wow.
I get
Okay.
tilted when I make really, really stupid errors.
Okay.
There's like 2 scenarios where I get tilted. There's where I'm facing a comp that's very frustrating to play against, or if I make a really dumb mistake, I'm more prone to continuing to make mistakes. Usually I can reset between each map, but like for that map, it's like downhill. And I'm not really sure why, because I'll try and like mental clear, and then for some reason I'll just like make another mistake. It just like spirals. It's weird.
What comps frustrate you? You say comps that are frustrating to play versus, but what comps? Give me an example.
I'm really not a fan of playing into like lots of builders. It's kind of annoying. Like Torb Sim, Life Weaver.
Yeah.
Those kinds of heroes.
Yeah,
really
I got you.
annoy me, especially if they're like stacking them, like they're running
Sure.
Arrested Life Weaver Mercy or something. You just feel like you can't kill anything. But
Sure.
People don't run that too commonly, and usually if they do, we can find a way to counter it. It's only happened. Like
I freaking hate people that run ADR Life Weaver.
it's us. Yeah.
Photosynthesis.
Interesting. It's also worth noting as well that when I asked for like feedback, thoughts, your first priority was to point out like all the errors that you're making. Would you describe yourself as particularly hard on yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can be hard
Okay.
on myself. And
Okay.
then there's also times where I have like a massively inflated ego, so it goes both ways.
I mean, that's actually the same thing. Because here's the thing. You know what ego is? Ego is being obsessed or focusing on exactly your level of skill. So the reason why you're hard on yourself is because you're like, bro, I'm better than this. Why am I not playing better than this? I'm way better than this, right? And so then you get tilted. But that's ego. You see how that's ego? Because you think that you're like great. And so if you don't play great, then you get mad.
I can see that.
Teammates, do you guys back this up? Is this the experience with Tree?
Oh yeah.
That he's hard on himself, or
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the goal, Tree. I don't care how good you are. I really don't care. All you need to be working at is X, whatever the X may be. There's something that you're supposed to be working on. You talk about like, okay, I need to be focusing on my ult usage, or I need to figure out positioning on certain heroes. That's the goal of the scrimmage, right? The goal of the scrimmage isn't for you to perform well or to have a good time even. Your goal is to just practice at that specific skill. So you need to judge your performance based off of how much thought and focus you gave that specific skill. I don't care if you go 007, you know what I'm saying? But if you were really thinking about your positioning with Ashe, for example, like you were saying, right? That's a successful scrim because you have to play like an idiot while you're practicing these things, right? Because if you're not giving enough thought to your positioning, then you might play well, but you didn't really grow. You kind of see what I'm saying? You have to be willing to look stupid. So you got to compromise the ego to get better. And being hard on yourself is bad because not only does it tilt you, but it's distracting. I don't care if you suck. Nobody cares. Shut up. Focus on what you need to do. You get what I'm saying?
True. Yeah,
it doesn't. It just doesn't matter. Like you're just distracting yourself. It's pointless. And also, and as I'm sure your teammates will agree, when you get tilted, it's in a team environment. You're affecting your teammates. You're affecting your teammates. Because either you're lashing out at them, or even if you just go like total silent mode. Which one is it, guys? Is it both?
He doesn't really lash out.
So does it?
I go pretty quiet.
Okay, but you see how that's also negative, right?
Yeah. No, I definitely see it. I'll try and like start calming again just to like get my mental back. I feel like we as a team have gotten better about scrim mindset where we're more willing to like try things and experiment.
Sure.
But yeah, I see exactly what you mean about trying to keep mental in check because it can have domino effects on your play and your team's play.
100%. And I think it's important that while we're beating on you, that like I think everybody in this call has had moments like that, right? Where we have like an opinion of ourselves, we start to perform poorly, and we're like, now I'm starting to get distracted because I'm holding myself to a higher standard, but I'm holding myself to a higher standard because I think I'm the greatest. I'm distracting myself from practice, distracting everybody else. I'm like, right? I know I have all the time happens where I get, so just you can't let this inflated sense of ego prevent you from improving because it snowballs, right? It snowballs. And I think that's a good reminder as a team too, is don't think too highly of yourselves. If you think too highly of yourselves, like you guys were talking about, like we're struggling on the Sigma May. It's very easy in those situations where if you're like, I think Sigma May is the future. Like we need to learn to play Sigma May. We start to play Sigma May. We suck at Sigma May. Guys, we shouldn't be playing Sigma May. We should go back to the comp that we're good at. Do you see how that's an ego decision?
Yeah.
You know, that's preventing your growth. Now, if you think that you really enjoy and want to play the other comp just because you think it's the best strategic decision, sure. But if it becomes, I can't handle losing a couple of weeks of scrims because we're learning a new comp, then that's a really short-sighted and lazy decision. So I think this is like a team thing that has to be done. Now, I do want to preface that by saying I do think, especially at y'all's SR, like what is it, 4.2?
Around that.
Yeah.
We've been scrimming at 4.4 now.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
we've been able to beat some 4.4
Good.
teams. It's really inconsistent because sometimes, like, we got absolutely dumpstered by a 4.3 team that was like top 500, like all of them, and then
They weren't 4.3.
quote unquote 4.4 team, and we just like destroyed it. It just is like it's very
They
inconsistent
were
nowadays.
either they were and they were just extremely good. I don't know. They were way better than all the other teams.
So, well, the thing is you guys are scrimming up to 4.4. How many of those 4.4 teams come up to me and like, dude, why are we losing to 4.2K teams? What do you guys do better? You know, is it compositional? Is it communication? Is it team play? You know what I'm saying? And what happens is when you play versus a 4.4 team that's like actually good team play wise, they're not only better mechanically, they're also better team play wise. Of course, you're going to get dumpstered, right?
Yeah.
You know, so
I wasn't
like
surprised. I was just more so pointing out how the SR system is very not transparent nowadays. It's kind of tough to figure out exactly.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's always been the case, even in Overwatch 1, but it's even worse in Overwatch 2 because everyone's pulling out their season 12 and 2017 peak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like basically at that point, you just have to essentially like find out, like memorize who these teams are and either like blacklist them or like pursue future scrims if they're competitive, really, which I'm sure you guys have done. But you have to do a little bit of trial and error, you know, it's like playing Minesweeper, but with scrims. But yeah, I guess just overall, it's like, you know, you guys are scrimming at like a 4.2K level. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to play the meta. But if you guys do want to learn a new comp, then you got to understand that, you know, there's going to be a growth period there. And I think if you're ever scared of growth, like as a team or as an individual, then you're going to have a hard time. You have to be willing to look stupid. You have to be willing to look stupid. Otherwise, you're never going to improve. Okay. All this makes sense, y'all, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really have any other questions. I think what we'd like to do, well, okay. And do you guys have any questions or has anything else come up in the last 20 minutes?
I think I'm good.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay,
Right.
let's take a look here. So we are going to be looking at some compositional issues, maybe some execution on maybe Zarya, maybe some of the Sigma comps, whatever else is kind of you guys have been experimenting with. We're going to be keeping a look on, sounds like maybe a frontline backline disconnect, specifically with like the ebb and flow. Like sometimes I'm pushing when I should be pulling, or sometimes I'm pulling when I should be pushing. Are we supporting our tank? Are we supporting our backline? And those are the two things I think we're going to give the most focus. Sound good?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. VOD review channel. What code should we start with?
Let's go Lijiang Tower.
Okay, give me 1 second. I am
We play
praying.
photosynthesis, don't we, on this map?
Yeah.
We do,
Yeah, the
yeah.
last
I
two.
just
want-
wanted
I-
to agree.
Oh boy.
I want you guys to cross your fingers because the Hanzo, you guys heard about the Hanzo bug, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
I
just
don't
patched
think
it
anyone
right
played
now.
Hanzo.
They just patched it right now. So surely that doesn't mean they
Oh.
just wiped codes, right? It's not an
Bro.
actual patch, right?
I
so mad.
I still have my codes. I've got them
Yeah,
up.
we were like scrambling
good.
to find a scrim yesterday.
Okay,
'cause,
okay.
like,
Sorry, Lijiang, you said? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was too busy panicking over the code. Okay, we're good. I was fixing to commit a war crime. So we're good. Okay, so continue what you were saying. I'm sorry I interrupted.
it was like you were scrambling to find a scrim yesterday because like it was first day of season basically, and also it's, like, our first scrim bailed out on us. Then we found
And the
another
second scrim.
bailed out on us.
I'll just kill that one.
What was the average of the team? I don't actually remember.
I think it was
This is
supposed
a
to be
4.3.
4.3.
4-3, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 4-2-ish kind of scrimming.
Okay, makes sense. I'm looking through patch notes here. Now, you guys said, you know, we're struggling a little bit with the Sigma comp. So I guess here's my question for you. Why is Sigma back? What's happened?
That is
That's
a great
kind of
question.
the problem. I don't really know.
Okay, so if you don't
I don't know
know,
anything about the comp.
There-
But I
there's
just know that it's good.
there's two ways to approach this, okay? Number one, if you don't know, then don't play it until you know, okay? Number two, play it, and instead of trying to win, try to think and figure out why this is supposed to work. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I look at what you guys are playing right now, and if you don't know why people play Sigma in a certain situation, you're going to be absolutely curb. I was going to say curb stomped and turbo stomped. I said both turbo stomped. Let's just make that a word. You're screwed.
I mean, he does have like extreme survivability,
but nothing has changed, right?
Yeah.
So why was he not played previously?
Maybe because Orisa was better. But now
Orisa and Zarya both got nerfed, but I don't know if that was like the
But
reason.
you didn't play
a 5% change.
But why was Orisa played in Brawl?
Well, her survivability was insane.
But why? But was Orisa better than Rein in Brawl?
I would say in some points. Yeah.
I promise you that we're gonna dig and we're gonna find the answer, but I'm gonna keep asking questions until we come up with it. Okay.
She's probably not better in Brawl.
In what situations is she better than Brawl and Rein?
Probably when you just need to live or disrupt people.
That's a very vague statement. Vague statements don't work in meta.
Because
you're right. Because you're right. But I can also say that Reinhardt has better staying pattern, better ultimate peaks. You know, I can make up like Garbly Goop too, right? Think of the environment. Always consider the environment. This is why you can't balance in a vacuum. You have to consider the environment. Why was Orisa? Why is Sigma played? Think about the supports. Think about the DPS. What has been the meta? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There was a lot more Bastion last match.
Okay. How does Reinhardt do versus Bastion?
Not good.
I wouldn't say badly, but not great. How does Sigma do versus Bastion?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah.
Orisa?
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. That's it. Literally, the reason people were running Sigma in Overwatch League and are probably running Sigma right now is because Bastion is still a very, very strong Brawl DPS. That's it. Now you could probably see why we have a bit of a problem right now. Do you see what's wrong with your screen?
Where Bastion?
Where Bastion?
Oh, yeah. Where is he?
So how does the Sigma do versus their composition?
Kind of just
he gets rushed down pretty hard.
Terribly, right? You're going to feed Sim Beam. You have no staying power versus the Reinhardt. You're screwed. You're screwed. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know. What Maba, what are your best tanks? What are your top three? Give me like top 3 or 4.
Well, Zarya used to be my worst, but then I grinded the crap out of her. So I'd say she's probably one of my best now.
Okay.
Used to be really good at Roadhog, but that doesn't matter anymore.
I'm going to pretend that doesn't matter. Yeah.
Probably Sig.
Okay, so you are a good Sigma. So here's the thing, guys. Are you a really good Rein or not so much?
No.
Okay, so here's the thing. Could you guys play Sigma by leaning into your strengths? Yes, absolutely. But you guys got to find out what are your strengths. So like
also good at Orisa. So
okay.
I could play Orisa into this.
But would you want to play Orisa into this?
Be better than Sigma.
No.
Maybe, but you see how it's only marginally better. It still doesn't really deal with the issue because why would you play Orisa and Brawl if the enemy team doesn't run Bastion? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just there's just not as much motivation to. So I look at this here and I'm like, okay, our comp can work, but we better know how to play it. How do you guys play this? How do you guys win this matchup? As simply as you can possibly put it.
Lots of angles.
Lots of angles. Lots of spam.
And prevent them from taking the space like with
you just need to rotate
speed.
Away.
Right. Exactly. I don't know that it's necessary in this map. Now, let me ask you guys one more question before we move on. If you were rolling out Sigma to counter Bastion, why would you not roll out in Sigma on this map to counter Bastion?
Why would you
I feel like it's kind of hard to take angles on this map.
I agree.
At least
how often do you guys see Bastion on this particular point?
Unless we're like teleporting the point, not really that often.
Right. All right. Sim Bastion usually gets run over, right? On point. You kind of need a May's very, very strong on this map. So you generally see more Sim May. So I would say that's something to consider. Okay, let's take a look here. Obviously not the greatest wall.
Yeah, it didn't quite work.
Yeah, let me actually get my settings here situated.
I have a quick question. Is the Lucio ran with the Sigma because that comp's designed to counter Bastion and they just kite form?
You tell me.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about this.
Well, yeah, I'm going to ask questions that you might not know the answer to immediately, but you still need to think about it, right? So you gave me one good reason, right? You can kite Bastion form. What else can you do?
You could just like
kite the rush.
Kite the rush, yeah. You can also push once you have a cooldown advantage as well, right?
Yeah.
And it's also King of the Hill, right? So yeah, I think Lucio is great here. It gives you guys a lot more time to be able to survive the rush and take off angles, right? So you always have to ask yourself with Lucio, it's like, what would get more value out of another spam character or the ability to extend our spam phase? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it.
And I think at King of the Hill, the answer is generally extending your spam phase. So I think this is good because you don't really have good positions to start from. But you see how like your Sigma's off angle has not killed their push, but really made it hard. You've spammed backline, you've rocked the Sim's out. So can they push now? Yes. Will it feel very good for them to push right now? No. And that's what you guys need. The only problem, as we pointed out, is this.
Yeah, that
right?
wall was
Where if you put this behind Rein, he has to shield. You guys break Rein's shield, and all of a sudden now their push is dead too. So it can work. I don't know if it's optimal, but it's good enough for a team of your SR to make it work just fine. You guys see this? This is good. You guys are playing this very, very well. And also at the same time, right? This is good. You guys accidentally played it perfectly. Well, okay. You played it well. Not perfectly, but played it well. You guys see that, right?
Yeah.
Now, what should you do right now?
Maybe try and poke shield through main and then get an angle on us.
Yeah, you need to push. This is also where the Lucio is really important, right? Because what are the status of their CDs? Do you see this? No amp, half HP.
They're also all low. Yeah.
No turrets, half HP, no shield, no pen, half HP, no shift, no lamp, almost half HP. So remember when we talked about Lucio is like extending the spam phase? You guys were thinking pulling the rubber band back, right? Like kiting, yeah? But now we're pulling it the other direction. Where do we want to let them stabilize?
No, because
our existence at range, right, which is here, your maximum Sigma spam angle, is value. We do not want to let them turn the switch off ever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They are very black or white. They are in or they are out. You are not. You are bleeding and bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. Do not let them make it to the hospital. Shoot out the ambulance tires, right? Continue the pressure going. And eventually either they're going to do one of two things. They're going to die or they're going to be forced to take an action. But how strong are they going to be?
Not very. They don't have a
not
lot
very
of
strong.
cooldowns.
Right. So if they are like, oh, we're all low, we have to push now, they're going to be crippled. And the punch is going to be very weak. So keep going. This is where the Lucio speed is important, right? What does the Lucio speed let you do right now?
Take a lot of space very quickly.
Right, very quickly. Do not let them hide for long. We're speeding forward. Keep spamming. Does that mean that we need to push into them necessarily? Doesn't necessarily. You guys might do that. Like you could go in there and rock and Maywall and Brawl. You could absolutely do that. Maybe not immediately, but it's possible. But at the very least, it allows you to spam longer. Now, my only problem here, and this is just a little detail I think I'd point out, is what's the purpose of the soldier? We saw high value with the soldier early on. Why?
Because there was an off angle to take high ground.
Brilliant.
But now
yes.
if there's no high ground, it's going to be harder for him.
Correct.
Beam Rein, but
now let me ask you guys a question. The way the most teams play this map, I don't have any crazy Scrim insight here, but like let's say that most teams are going to play Brawl on this map with Symmetra or whatever. Is Soldier going to struggle?
He might, yeah.
He might.
But there's
so
not a ton of ways to get to the point and pressure like people on the point.
So is there a better hero?
Sojourn maybe.
Trying to think about
pretty much only plays Soldier or Sojourn. That's about it.
Perk.
Yeah.
So would you
get
get
other heroes? But we usually leave him on Soldier.
So you know what? Can you guys make it work with Soldier?
I think we can.
Yeah.
I think so too. So you could have your Soldier like hard off angle here and just put pressure consistently there. Works for me. I mean, I'm this is why like you got to lean into your strengths a little bit. So let's see how we do. See, look, what's the problem?
We let them live.
Too passive. Why are we hiding? Shoot. I don't care that you're low in CDs. They're low in CDs as well, and you guys dominate this range. And now they've restabilized. And so then now, I think you guys have lost, to be honest with you. Because now you're going to start to walk forward, but that's what they want you to do, right? Now, the good news is that while you're walking forward, your cracked off tank is smoking, right?
Just another day in the office.
It's your boy. Slight work, no reaction.
Not that big. Well, sometimes. That's a little bit unfortunate. Good rock. Also, what the frick, guys?
Wait, Milk, I didn't know about this. Wait.
Now
Yeah,
remember,
yeah,
what's the plan here? What's the plan? What's the plan?
If we wall the Rein and
They
the
have to
bastion
walk.
point,
So what should we be doing right now? Come on, guys. Coach your Lucio player. What was it? Am speed, right? Am speed right now. Just am speed. S key and shoot. S key and shoot.
Oh,
If
you were saying Milk and I thought you were saying as a team.
Yeah. And I mean the same thing, right? Everybody. Yeah, but yeah, this is a troll, right? This is a troll. Disaster.
Did we win this fight?
Now the funny thing, yeah, I mean, because you're like, oh, guys, you're so low. Oh no.
I think I spawn camped their sim here.
Oh yeah, we do.
Oh,
we
wait,
do.
yeah.
We kill the sim on the
That's
way
good.
back.
That's good. We take it. We take it. We take it. Go
Kiba
ahead.
is a big subscriber to Awkward's videos and
What? No.
damage.
No.
He
He is-
definitely is.
It's
He
like
is-
a 50-50.
Nah, it works though.
It's like a
He does-
50-50 if he has more
The
damage.
amount of
than
damage
me.
he outputs is insane.
Okay.
Kinda
Yeah.
criminal.
I mean, why do you think that's actually way more important with y'all's composition?
Well, we don't really.
Like,
I
we're
mean,
just-
Sigma doesn't need a crazy amount of.
Right. So that's it.
So you
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's another advantage of
Marcus,
Sigma, right? It allows you
yeah,
Baptiste to go
Marcus,
DPS mode, right? So yeah, that's good. Yeah. I mean, all things considered, you guys can see like how this is working. Now, what's funny is look at these bozos. They go Bastion.
So why do you run May with the Lucio? Like,
You tell me.
you're,
Wall, I think.
Is it
Wall
What
just
does Wall
really
do?
good.
Helps
It can,
them.
it can
to-
isolate one or two
Stop
of them,
rushing.
and then
Right. Do you?
Yeah, it
it's
can
the,
also
it's the
stop rushes.
same logic as Lucio, where Lucio does not provide a lot of spam value, but he enables you to spam for longer. May is the same thing. She can spam a little bit, but mostly she just kills the push. And she also allows you guys to keep pushing afterwards, where they try to kite away and hide, and you wall them up and prevent them from kiting away, so you can keep spamming them. May just drags it out. If you're running Hanzo or Echo, you do a lot more damage, but it'd be harder to stop their push. That's why I was so mad about that first wall on their push, because that was a perfect idea to wall to stop the Rein from pushing, but you messed it up.
yeah, it did mess it up.
Yeah.
By the way, do I need to wait out amp speed when I have Blizzard? Because as you're about to witness, my Blizzard gets no one. Because they just
Well. What else does Blizzard do? It freezes people and kills them. But what will be forced to
they can
do?
split the
It makes
team.
them not want
It's
to go
split. It splits,
Yeah.
right? So then what value can you get from the split?
We push you
trying
to
to,
the
like,
people
isolate,
that are
yeah.
Isolates people. It gives you more time to spam, even, right? So it gives you more time to soften them up. Everything revolves around what your composition wants to do and how do our ultimates allow ourselves to do it. That's why Flux is so OP. They push. What do? You Flux. They stand in the air and then they die, right? Even if the Flux doesn't actually get the kills directly, it forces all the CDs. It forces them to completely stop what they're doing for 3 seconds.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't think this Blizzard does much of that, as you'll soon come to realize.
Yeah. There's also no problem that we're like comboing Flux and I mean, these are things that you guys will figure out the more you play this comp, if you guys continue to play this comp, where like things like Flux Blizzard is like unstoppable because it's beat the Flux, right? Blizzard the
And
Flux,
you get Blizzard.
they lose anyway, right? I mean, even something like a May wall won't stop that from happening, right? What do you guys think about your setup right now? I
think it's all right.
think it's okay too.
Okay.
I think it's okay
I
too.
might
Milk
be a
can be a little
little-
bit closer to help pull
Yeah.
us back.
Yeah,
I think I was trying to I wasn't sure to help frontline or go on and like off angle with perk or something.
Who needs speed right now?
Probably the frontline here.
Okay. What do you do on backline right now?
I think what I'm doing is that I think I calmed like as soon as they drop, I'm just gonna window since they're gonna be in the open.
Sure. But honestly though, what does your Lucio do with backline right now?
Oh, well, Lucio does.
Probably nothing, right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
What if they had Symmetra?
Then I'd be like helping to maybe boop the teleport, get
Sure.
them out
Yeah.
of
Sure.
danger.
That's when you got a really hard decision to make, right? But I see no reason for you to be here.
Should
at
we
all.
Foreshadowing.
be closer if they have a sim here? Like, say they don't have the Bastion, say they have sim and they're peeking top like this. Should we be like kind of more like a death ball, like so that Kiba can't just get TP'd on and burned? Or
No.
Foreshadowing.
Because how do you peel for Kiba? as a soldier or a Sigma or a Mei? If your BAP gets TP'd on, we talked about Boop can help a little bit, right? But what can a Sigma do?
Probably rock the TP or just
Maybe.
shoot at him.
Do you need to be at point blank range to rock or shoot the TP? No. So what can you do if you're being on top of your BAP?
Same thing as you could.
You know what I'm saying?
Shift.
Yeah, true.
It's minimal value essentially. So what you should do instead is be like, nice to know you, Kiba, Lucio Boop, Amp, Lamp, Baptiste Regenerative Burst, right? And your job is not to peel for Kiba, but to avenge his death.
Okay.
And in fact, taking multiple angles is the best way to do that. Like if they just had Symmetra right here, look at what your Mei, Sig, and Soldier would do to that TP. You see what I'm saying? It would be misery. It'd be misery. You would lose one, and then they would lose the fight anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the main thing to take away from here is that the split that you cause is not the split that you necessarily want. Obviously, the first thing here is I think the Flux is the more important thing to go for here instead of the Blizzard. Second thing here is that your Lucio needs to be here as well. Even booping things like Mei or whatever would be helpful. Lastly, and you could see here, the problem that you guys have here is that you know what they want to do. What is their one advantage over y'all in the terms of the composition?
When they get close.
When
Yeah,
they get
close
close.
range.
Rein versus Sigma. That's it. They just want to get close. That's all they want to do. I mean, even Bastion versus Soldier, right? They want to get close. So then look at how your Mail is placed.
It allows them to get close.
And even look at your Baptiste window, right? They want to get close. So why are we BAP windowing there? Like, if anything, you'd BAP window even just here, right? In which case, at the very...
the Soldier on high ground, maybe?
You could BAP window the Soldier. Or honestly, guys, legit, just BAP window his feet. His BAP window is totally fine. I think Bastion dies if he BAP windows his feet.
Yeah, probably.
So we've extended thankfully, we've burned like a lot of CDs. So if we go through here, there's Amp, there's Turret, there's Grenade, there's Wall, half HP. Rein has almost no shield, missing half of his HP. But you see that that's not enough for the ults that we used.
Yeah,
Makes sense?
It's not
So,
in favor.
Let's put it this way. If this was a neutral fight, you guys played it well. You guys get what I'm saying? Also, one other thing. I say if the neutral fight, you played it well. But also, what the frick? Pop out of Ice Block, wall off the Bastion, or wall off yourself, or wall off this or something. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
I would give him. He has not played a lot of Mei.
That's fine. Mei is a hard hero.
Learning Mei.
But Mei is a hard hero.
Process of learning Mei.
You're doing
easy heroes like Genji. So.
You're right. The brain dead heroes like Genji, right? No. But see, yeah, this hero is really hard. This hero is really hard, so it's fine. I'm picking fun at you, but yeah, no. Also,
I don't know why they didn't just kill me. If they're smart, they'd probably just kill me.
Also, guys, what the frick?
I was trying to eat Mei ult.
From your own Mei?
Wait, yeah.
Oh, GG.
Wait a minute.
I heard the audio cue.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you sure you guys got your numbers? I said 4.2 or 2.4. I couldn't. Because, okay, so shift, and then, we missed the biggest hitbox in the game. And then, So you guys can see that, honestly, it's remarkable that this has gone as well as it has. You guys played your distance well. I take back what I said. You did not play your neutral well. Your Lucio's mispositioned. You missed your wall. You beefed both of your ultimates. You beefed your rock, and you beefed your shift. And you also got our order wrong as well. But at least you played your distance right? Your Soldier was positioned well. BAP was positioned well. And you could see that, as badly as this has gone, look at their HPs. You know what I'm saying? This has been hard. And this Flux is good.
Yeah, Perk is a high ground warlord.
I mean, it's great. Look at how this guy is legit falling asleep at the wheel here. Watch. Look at how much damage he does here. Okay, maybe disregard that moment. But regardless, he's just falling asleep at the wheel, right? They have never been able to get theirs Maywall, and then I think you guys just win.
Big visor.
The idea was good for you as a team. The execution was not there. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, same thing here. It's all about range management. wall if they're pushed. Now you see they've gone Sigma
They
too,
match the thing. Yeah.
which is funny because it's actually like probably not necessary. I mean, it's pretty good versus the soldier, but it's really probably not necessary. What do you guys think about this Mei wall?
Cuts off May, but it didn't do a ton besides.
Now,
that.
now, obviously they're in a mirror now, so all bets are off. Yes or no?
Does the Sigma
yeah.
fall through or no? Does he go past the wall or?
No, I don't think he does.
No.
The intent
Yeah,
was
well, it
to
didn't even
wall
cut
off
off
their
the full-
LOS.
So how do you guys play this matchup here? Is this a trick question?
You
I
just
mean, we just
go point. I
stays
guess.
about the same, right? Don't we?
It's
Just
a
drop
pretty,
angle and-
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the answer I was
Yeah.
looking for, right? Whenever there's like a not very clear matchup, like it feels kind of in between, don't focus about like, how do we play the matchup, guys? How do we do this 0.1% impact thing? Like we need to play faster or slower or more. Nah. It's basically a mirror. Just do better. That's it. Just hit your shots, take better angles, time things better. So then what do you think of this Mei wall? Does this force a good split?
No.
I actually
Not
disagree. I think this is a good May wall.
Oh really?
Yeah,
surprised.
I do. What do you see?
I mean,
Well,
I
May's
thought
cut
off.
May
May.
cryo.
May ice block immediately,
Yeah, force cryo.
ice block. Cryo wall for cryo is a good trade, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that actually.
That's a good trade, especially if you're gonna, because it's not gonna be just cryo either. Because you see this, there's a little bit of that turret form wasted too. The thing is are we gonna get the split? Yes, we are. And so now, do you see that? Like, and what is their May doing now?
Nothing. She's just
What is my
Nothing
May
just
doing?
cryo.
Right?
doing damage.
Doing damage, right? And so then
there.
now Maba, there's the shift. And now who's now
Weak.
right? And then now we still have our beat, and we have better positioning as well because we actually have cover. They don't. They have to have to push out in the open. So you guys have actually like. I'm not really looking at everybody's CD usage here. Also, I want to see where Milk is. I mean, this is hard for Milk to be honest. I think Milk's positioned fine because it's kind of out in the open, yeah. But like this is it's good.
We're able to cut this.
Do you see it? Do you see this? Like, do you see this? Like, you guys are in perfect position. It's a great lamp. We were able to get out just barely in time. Now you have like, obviously Milk might die, but now you have like an off angle from both your Sigma and your Soldier. I think you guys win this.
Fergus has been on high ground the whole game.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. Like, you guys played that one really well. That was. I don't want to like look at the individual stuff, but like your overall positioning and trades were great. Nice job.
I do need to leave because I have class and I need to go. All
right, good luck, mate.
Campus, but yeah, thank
Cheers,
you.
mate. See ya.
Will this be like posted like afterwards? Or something like that?
By tomorrow morning.
Okay. Thank
Yep.
you.
Can we take a look at the Zarya comp?
Let's do it.
Go.
Let's do it. See you, mate.
That might just be on King's Row.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not-
well, I think we've hammered at this enough for this particular matchup. Do you guys want to move to the next
tried
round, next map?
Ramatra. It was terrible. One, I've like never played him. I
Well-
understand the general idea. I think,
I think that's where again you have to consider the environment.
but
I-
also, yeah, it's.
Do you
just
see their
terrible
comp?
into that comp.
I think so too. You're not the only one that tried it though. Boston Uprising tried Ramatra into Bastion, and they would just like rush onto the Bastion. But plot twist, Punch is garbage versus Bastion. He takes no damage. He sits in turret
Yeah,
form.
it-
He got buffed.
If he isn't.
Fuck it, I'll try him.
You can't. Fire strike, swings, pin, rock. Rein is just better than Ramatra. Sigma
Also, the
is
thing
obviously a lot better.
Yeah, I
The
mirror.
thing
Ryan
I noticed
eventually.
here is they always having a shield lets you take space so much more effectively. It's so that your shield can move. It's
Yep,
an
yep.
incredible concept.
Well, the funny thing is you guys are probably running the worst Ramatra composition possible, actually. Because look at your poor Symmetra. What the frick is she supposed to do without a perma shield?
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
You know what I'm saying? So your Rama's going balls deep. He's going to get his block forced after like 2 punches, right? And then he's basically AFK the rest of the fight because Bastion. Then your Symmetra has 0 space because she has no shield. So she actually, like, you see how scary this is for her, right?
Yeah.
And so then now she's AFK. So obviously composition is always king, right? Like we could look at this, I guarantee you, and find issues with like the individual decisions, but you guys are starting at a disadvantage with this comp.
Yeah,
Ram,
we
Sim,
get-
Mei is bad, especially in Bastion meta.
We get 99-0, swap Ryan, and then win the map.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rein, with Rein, your comp makes sense because you can at least give your Sim time to build up beam. And Rein does much better into Bastion than Ram. I mean, Rein is an optimal versus Bastion, and that's why Sigma's being played in Orisa and such. But at least Rein can do something. Ram can do nothing. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Ram is good in Brawl, just not very. He's just terrible versus Bastion. That's why you have to like. You can't look at a vacuum. You have to consider like overall context. Okay. Is this the funny comp?
Yeah, we've decided that it's terrible into dive because like the idea was I can grip whoever gets rushed down, but it doesn't.
I feel like it could work a lot better if can Pi play Tracer?
Yeah, I can play Tracer.
Oh Jesus!
I'm the best Tracer
At a
ever.
diamond level, he can play Tracer.
Okay, maybe not then. Because I think the idea is that the problem is that there's too many people that need help in this comp,
What about
right?
Genji?
Genji would be better, yeah.
Work.
Genji would be work. Yeah, Genji would require. The problem is that there's too many people to babysit in this composition, right? Like Life Weaver has to worry about EDR, you have to worry about Soldier, and honestly, like New Sombra, you have to worry about New Sombra too. Sombra might function better as people get better at her, but you're going to demand like a lot of like peel and a lot of like care, and like there's just too many things being demanded at the same time. So I think if you were on like something a little bit more self-sufficient, I think it could maybe work.
I'm really trying to learn Tracer.
this
I made
New
a Tracer
Sombra?
one-trick account.
Yeah, this is New Sombra.
Okay.
This is New Sombra. Yeah, I just think New Sombra is a little bit more fragile, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm trying to learn New Sombra because I was like okay at old Sombra, and I just probably a good thing to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, let's put it this way.
Tracer.
If Weaver can worry about 2 people, like your Doom Soldier or like the Yari Soldier, and not have to worry about like 4 people that may or may not need peeling or pull, then this comp might work.
That makes sense.
But there's too many people that need help here. I don't know that Genji would be a lot better, but it would be a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys want to go do a different code?
Probably the King's Row one. You play Zarya on attack, I believe.
Any questions about the Sigma May, Rein May, Ram May, Bastion, when and what, where, who, how?
So it's basically just extend the poke
Yes.
as long as you can.
Yes. Extending the
They have
poke for as long
low
as you can.
cooldowns.
Yes.
Get in there.
Yeah. And for both of them, right? Like remember, they extend the poke by kiting out their push and then pushing after they've kited. So like they're very black and white. You want it to be gray for as long as you can. And that's what the Lucio does with the speed forward and the speed backward. Same thing with the May too. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we get rolled on defense.
Yeah, we try the Sig. We get rolled.
Do we want to look at like first fight?
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because in theory, your comp is okay. I don't love Sojourn into this. It's okay. I think it's okay. I think it's okay for what y'all need. It just might struggle to like. It's just not as good as it used to be, basically, with the rail changes, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously you can see the problem. You can see the problem, right? Well, if that's good.
I'm pretty sure our DPS players dropped.
Yeah, I accidentally dropped.
Okay, time out. Plug and play. Okay. You can drop, but then what needs to happen?
You need to go to hotel. You can't stay point.
Right, and really everybody needs to drop here. So why does dropping make sense like versus this comp? Let's pretend the Bastion or the BAP is alive, right? Why would you want to drop?
We can take better angles than
Right.
just
Distance,
keep going
right?
high.
Distance. It's the same thing as the previous round, right? So then the problem here is that if they hard brute force top, then maybe they could get on top of you and brawl. But the problem is right now is they're brute forcing top, but what is your May doing?
I was also just calling to just stay high ground.
You can't do any
well.
damage, right? Sojourn, no damage. The problem is that there's nothing here. They're allowed to get a brawl phase here, and your DPS are doing nothing. If your DPS had stayed, this would have felt a lot better. If everybody had dropped and taken angles, this would have felt a lot better. You need to pick one.
That drop was completely accidental. I walked right off the.
Then that's fine though. That's fine. That's fine. So then you need to be like, I've dropped, and we have to play around that because you know what? We could drop and take angles around point, and it's fine. It's like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's really fine.
I should have realized Perk and I are both on the ground and be like, yeah, we go hotel now. Like,
I don't even think you need to drop right now. I don't even think you need to drop now. I think basically just be ready to drop. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like if they start to push on us, we drop. Go ahead.
Can you also like cut off this BAP too that's coming back?
Yeah,
Like,
you sure could. Yeah, you sure could.
I'm gonna stay here, but Perk goes for the
Perky.
he goes for the
No.
I know
That's
Okay.
ballsy. That's
he,
ballsy.
he wanted to ask about how to use slide.
Not like that.
You
Not
guys
like
tell
that.
me. You guys tell me. You guys tell me. You guys want the Sojourn
Not
players,
like
but you
that.
tell me.
I mean,
play a lot
Remember,
of
what does this
Soj.
comp want to do? What does this composition want to do?
Poke, hit the Pokerton.
Well, what do
So
they want to
probably-
do, right?
they
What do
wanna
they
get
want to
on
do?
you, so you just
Yeah.
slide
So,
away
so then
from
how do you Sojourn slide?
Not into them.
them. And honestly, even
Right.
Away from them.
Get
Yeah,
away
just-
because they're going to have to push. Now, when would you Sojourn slide aggressively? Because they could do two things here, right? Who can they push? Two things.
They could go
Sojourn-
top or they could go point.
They could go point, chase Sojourn, slide away. No? Okay.
Mhm.
Other option. They ignore Sojourn, they
Big.
push destruction. Then how do we use slide?
aggressively to
you
chase
could
them.
maybe slide
Walk
up behind
behind, slide
Yeah,
up behind them,
yeah,
and
yeah.
deepen. But it has
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
used as a response to once they've made a decision.
Yeah.
That's it.
He got a little lost in the sauce.
He gave them a free target. Yeah.
Yeah, he
That was just a
kinda
total
gave
feed. But does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does make sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So at 7 minutes is our attack where we play the Zarya comp.
Okay. I want to finish this out at like double speed, but yeah, I mean, basically the problem is that you're down when you guys just didn't get enough damage. I actually think y'all's comp can work pretty well. I think the second point should feel pretty nasty though, because it's pretty like it's really easy for them to reset through all the cover,
it's-
you know.
yeah, I think it gets bad.
But I think first and even third is doable. It's not a surprise to me that you guys have won a couple of fights in third, I assume, just because distance, right? Like look at how much more distance there is to play with, right? Okay, I can ignore what just happened on my screen.
He was very aware of
That's a
that
diff.
mistake.
Mhm.
Bap a div.
Okay.
So
Ballsy,
this should be,
ballsy.
theoretically speaking, our best comp.
Okay, but it is also a very bad matchup. Now there are, I hate to use this term, but there are win cons. Okay. What are their advantages versus you guys?
A lot more like frontline damage with the
A
bash.
lot of frontline damage, a lot of big punch hurts, right? One, like they will butcher your Zarya, they could even butcher your BAP, they have a big burst cycle, rough. Where do you
All
guys have the
hurts.
advantage?
When they don't have the cooldowns.
When they don't have the cooldowns, what else do you have an advantage? Think about in terms of map control.
We this is kind of silly, but I feel like we might have better
We can
ults
still
than
take
them.
more angles, right?
You have better ults, and yes, you can take more angles. Because not only do you have the Genji and Sojourn, but you also have what does your tank provide?
Damage and
Well,
bubbles to enable
bubbles to enable angles. The Rein can't help anybody without physically being there. You can.
Yeah.
So then how do you win? You could talk about constant pressure, like at range, like with your Zarya beam and like playing to avoid their Bash and Mei. Yeah. But like, how do you win?
Well, we
Take
typically
angles.
try to bubble
force
Genji a lot, so
cooldowns.
he gets a lot of value.
Bubble
Just like-
Genji on an angle. That's it.
Yeah,
Bubble
yeah.
Sojourn on an angle. That's it. If you don't control off angles, you lose.
We play this comp like the Genji is Winston and you're playing double bubble from Overwatch.
Yeah, that can work. That can work just fine. Yeah, so let's see what happens.
I might have gotten deep with the dash, but I don't think they punished me.
But do you see how like this has kind of killed their push a little bit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
At
you
least
get
for
the
this-
BAP really low.
it's
At
still
least
hard
for
to
this-
punish.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. So for me, it's like okay, there's one, there's two, deflect, and we should still have the second bubble to disengage out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. You guys did this well. You guys did this really well. Because what did you guys need to do? Go in, cycle cooldowns, go out, try again. Hopefully control an off angle. Now I will say, for you, Pi, I would hope that Pi would go like
Climb the top. Climb.
Yeah, hold the angle,
I saw
right?
That. I
Hold-
actually saw that.
hold the angle, and then they do one of two things. They either like hard push you, in which case your team can like actually pocket you because they're looking at you, or they ignore
Yeah.
you and they push the team, in which case you could just stay here and shoot damage, right?
It's a way better poke angle.
Yeah, way better poke angle. But like all things considered, you guys did kite out their snapback, their push back with their Bastion and Mei and Pen, and it was a really nice boot for Milk there. Really nice bubble here. And look at this now. So let's go down the list. Almost has cooldown again. Has used amp. Has used shift, but still has lamp. About to get one bubble, maybe two. We'll get cooldowns back pretty soon, right? Whereas look at them, right? So their cooldowns are matched. Their cooldowns are matched. Cooldowns are matched. Cooldown, but low on shield. Do you see that? Low on shield, low on shift. So you guys have kind of traded cooldowns. I think you guys have a slight advantage, but there's one difference. Ready?
No form.
100
Nope.
charge.
100 charge.
Oh yeah.
So this next punch is going to matter a lot more. So what should you guys do right now? Pretend you're playing Sigma. How do you beat this comp?
You go on the Bastion. He's like 8 seconds off.
Right. I honestly think at this point in time, regardless of what target that you're going for, you just need to be doing damage right now. You have 100 charge Zarya. Their Bastion doesn't have turret form. Who has the better poke? We do. Right. Utilize it right now. Peek and just damage. Peek and damage. Peek and damage. Peek and damage. If it's just shooting Rein shield or shooting right clicks, like just damage. Ego. Because if you don't, what's the risk?
They're just gonna build more cooldowns. They get form back.
Right. They're gonna get everything back again. They're gonna get everything back again. Now, goodness gracious, you guys managed to force Ice Block, which is really important. But you see that Rein shield slowly ticking back up again? That's scary. So start to burn them. Start to burn. Don't. This is unnecessary though. Do you see how this is unnecessary? You don't need to be close. You just need to be shooting. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you guys are like, oh, we have an advantage here. Let's push. No. If anything here, you'd sit here patiently. You'd send your Genji on an off angle again, maybe with or without bubble. Honestly, even a Sojourn with an off angle here would be fine too. They would not be able to get rid of her, and then you just be patient. Remember, the goal is that is not to engage a brawl phase as much and as often as you can. The goal is to just be shooting as often as much as you possibly can. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the problem is now is because you guys go into ego. Even though your Lucio is there, it's going to cost you all of your resources just to get out, and you may still not be able to get out. In fact, so your Genji tries to bail you out here. Oh, you committed the cardinal sin. You committed the cardinal sin of Overwatch.
What, dashing in without deflect?
No, you did. Well, that too, but... Oh, yes. This is the cardinal sin of Overwatch. Right there.
Deflecting at choke.
Yeah. And now you're not fully healed. This should be a deflect here.
Oh, I was calling for bubble. That's why. I rest my case.
I had bigger problems.
Okay, fair enough. So then what's the issue here? What's the issue here? There's the ebb and flow. So whose fault is this? I want us to name names here. Whose fault is this?
I deflected a choke. That's really bad. I should not.
That's your fault. Okay. Then whose fault? The bubble.
Why does he have to use it on himself? Was he too close?
I get walled and pinned.
Why is my Zarya here?
I'm too close.
Why is my Zarya? What does Mappa need to be doing?
Shoot them.
Shooting. Does Mappa need? We talked about this, right? Does Mappa need to be point blank range to shoot?
No, you can back up a bit.
So if Mappa's playing here and playing chill, then will Mappa have more like mental space to worry about bubbling his Genji?
Yeah.
Yes. So whose fault is this?
Me.
Your fault. Chill. Focus on doing your job, enabling your DPS, and just focus on shooting people. That's it. You don't need to get up here and push.
Is there really like no time to deflect a choke ever, or is it just like
of course there is. Of course, if there's like actual reasonable cooldown value, defending cooldowns, whatever. Of course, there's always an exception to the rule. Always an exception to the rule, but that wasn't it. You'll know it when you see it. You'll know it when you see it. Yeah, because it's like the problem is that you guys force a brawl phase. And so then now...
Wait. I think it happens on this map. I get deflect Bastion nade through window. It kills 2.
So like your Genji actually like bails you guys out because he takes all the heat for you guys, which allows you guys to catch this Reinhardt. Right? Do you see how this Reinhardt got caught in gray for too long?
Yeah.
But it costs you your lamp and also costs you Genji's life. Now, really, right now, what should be the play?
Push in.
Push in. Now, how hard do we have to push in?
Not like crazy.
Right. We just need to shoot. Just keep shooting. Keep shooting. Max range even. Just max range. Keep shooting. See, you're stopping. Don't stop. Keep shooting. Play the cover. Play the corner. But like I see ice block here. I'm not backing off. I'm staying right here. I'm just gonna keep shooting. Keep shooting. Right? Keep shooting. Good. Keep shooting.
Takes so much space from there.
Keep shooting. There's the bubble. Keep the pressure. You see how much easier that was, right?
Yeah.
You guys did an okay job. Like, let's be very clear. You guys didn't troll. Wait. I want to see this.
It's not here, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's not here. It's not here.
It's
It's
on
But what do you think of this? The flag?
Good. Very good.
I mean, it's actually perfect too
I
because
like
it gets you out of jail too because you needed this deflect for your own life, so it serves a double purpose. Like, look at how much time.
Saves, like everyone else too.
Right, it buys so much time. It buys so much time, right?
Yeah, while
That's
their
perfect.
Rein's just getting cooked.
And now they're in gray again, right? Good. You guys easily win this fight. That's good. The longer that you guys stay at like this medium range, the longer it goes. It's not about fast versus slow. It's about on versus off. It's about range, right? You guys have the better poke tank. So the more that your tank is.
What if we're playing against Sigma? Like,
well, you're telling me. Well, you're telling me who is the better medium range poke?
The engagers trying to close the distance.
Well, maybe. Give me the composition first.
Yeah,
like
because
the comp like with the May.
Sure.
Sojourn,
So
Lucio, Map, Sig.
Who is better mid-range poke, Sigma or Zarya?
definitely Sigma, I would say.
You seem unsure. Why?
Well, okay,
Mid range. Like if Zarya's in range, I'd say maybe even Zarya.
Well, I think it depends on her charge too.
It does. It does. It depends 100% on their charge, right? So you could be a little bit more patient if you're super charged. Just keep poking and keep burning and keep poking and keep burning, right? But then here's the question: how do you get charge?
By like cycling cooldowns once.
Right. You might need to actually pretend that you're a Rein comp for at least a cycle of cooldowns. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Go in with your Genji, bubble, push a little bit, maybe don't card commit, but take an angle with your Sojourn or with your Genji aggressively. Get that charge, and then all of a sudden, once you get that charge and you're slowly bleeding them out in medium range, then you play it like it's a Brawl comp. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you just need to understand, like, what's the range of the character that I'm playing. Now, I would say if you're playing into, like, Mei Bastion, right, the goal is still to play around your angles more than anything else. That's the advantage that you have. We're focusing very much on the tank, but as we've seen, it's actually been more about what our Genji's doing than anything else. And so, if you have a Genji's, if your Genji Sojourn is stacked and your Zarya's only bubbling herself, then it doesn't matter if you build high charge, you're going to lose every single time. But if you get your Genji on an angle, your Sojourn on an angle, then you're cooking. That's your main advantage versus that comp. Make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as we always say, if you don't get a perfect read of the matchup, don't worry about it. Focus more on just the basic execution of what you do understand. It doesn't demand you to understand every single detail to play it well. Now, I know we're thinking ult here, but you know what they're going to do. So I think even in ult phase, you still need to consider the overall range matchup, right? So for example, what should we be doing if you guys are you? What should we be doing? Because I know what you're going to do, but what should you do?
I guess
keep backing until we get
charged.
Just shoot. Just shoot. Keep shooting.
Yeah.
Back if you need to. Keep shooting. Because you know what that's going to do? That's going to make your ultimates feel so much better. Ult allow you to cheat. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you get Rein shield low enough, it helps to burn it during grab.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's good. So can you see how this is going to work, but it might be messy? Right? You see this?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, they're mates.
You see? It's exactly what I was saying, right? It worked, but it was unbelievably messy. Why?
Because we didn't force out enough cooldowns.
Right. You basically, this is the way that you had. You guys had a lot of ultimates, but you played the match. You cheated, is what you did. You cheated. You're like, oh, we're gonna brawl with a Rein comp, with a Rein Mei comp, instead of taking angles and poking them out, right? And so what happens is you utilized your ultimates to do that better, but because they're still really freaking good at this matchup, they actually made it really, really ugly. Because you could look at this and be like, oh, we should have saved bubbles, or oh, my Lucio should not have died to Bastion, or oh, I messed up my deflect. But really, all of those mistakes were forced because you guys fought in Brawl range into a Brawl comp.
Yeah.
I really should have blocked Shatter too. Is it really?
Oh yeah, I mean, you should have. There's a trillion ways that you could have, should have, could have, would have, but you guys did the stupid thing, right? Yeah. Now, again, do you ever brawl with a Rein comp as a Zarya comp?
If probably moments where
yes, when
they have no cooldowns, you're trying to just take space.
Right. Remember the Sigma and Lijiang, right? We should push. Sometimes if that Rein has no shield, you actually walk into his face. Total disrespect, right? But that was not it. Because if we go when you grab, check it. This is gonna be this. Shield. Check this out. Amp, turret, bash, full HP, full cooldowns, full shield, full HP, full cooldowns.
Yeah.
Right? You guys
just try and force more before.
Yeah, right. And how do you force more? You play to your strengths, right? What are your strengths?
Medium range.
Medium range, off angles. Medium range, off angles. That's what they don't have. So play to your range, play to your off angles. I guarantee you force a shift, an ice block, an amp, a turret, an ice block, or ice wall, excuse me, shield, anything, right? And this feels a lot better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you
Can I
guys
ask
got to
a
be.
question?
Yeah, please.
Is there any specific cooldown that you would look for that would be just ultimate go mode besides maybe Immortality Field?
For that very situation right there?
Yes.
I would put it this way. Actually, I don't know. You tell me.
Rein Shield broken?
Yep, Rein Shield broken. Or weak, right? What else?
It wouldn't be
Bastion
the
turret?
Yep, Bastion turret form. Yep, 100%. What else?
it wouldn't be the deciding factor to like go in, but getting cryo would be
Cryo.
huge.
Cryo would be huge. I mean, and it would definitely be a huge factor, 100%, because that's going to force an instant lamp, right? If he's not sucked in, or it's going to mean that she's not involved, right? So, yeah, I mean, really, the answer is that you probably already know the answer. You know, a broken shield, good enough for me, right? Ice block plus Baptiste shift, that would have been okay. Turret form, amp speed, probably okay. Probably okay. Even a pin and no fire strikes. That is also a very quietly and underrated set of cooldowns to look for in that situation, right?
Yeah, because they had literally everything.
They had literally everything. So if you guys had even forced just 3 or 4 cooldowns just from taking an off angle, using one bubble, putting out a little bit. Because again, if you look at the charge of your Zarya going to that fight, and that's the Zarya advantage, right? What charge were you at going to this? So you're already at 40 something charge before the fight even starts, right? So yeah, okay. Anyway, does that make sense, y'all?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, let's keep going. So it's less. You'll know it when you see it. You'll know it when you see it. Same thing here. Same thing here. You guys can beat engage this 100% if you want to, but we would still like to see a little bit of pressure here. And this is gray. This is gray. Do you see the gray here? Do you see the gray? Do you see the? Do you see the damage? Maybe the deflect is a little bit earlier, but there's their amp. The Rein shield should be, in theory, burning. Yeah. See, the Rein shield is losing HP, right?
Now
Then
they're
there's
walking into a window.
and now they're walking into window. Do they have the tools to deal with this window now? No amp.
Do they have wall?
Turret's down.
Wall.
Turret is almost down. They have no grenade. Oh, they have wall, but that's all they have, right? They don't even have charge now. You see this? No shift. Like, it's very quietly. I think this is over. I think you guys should win this. And do you see how you guys could beat engage this and just totally win? Aw, disaster.
Wait, did I feed? What happened?
You deflected on the way out and didn't respect the deflect.
Oh.
No.
Oh, we deflect bubbled. That sucks.
Yeah, you deflect bubbled
Right,
and then you didn't, and then you kited the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I think this is a situation where you guys could have beat engaged off of a deflect, but yeah, that's fine.
I definitely struggle to use beat a lot more into like Reinhardt comps where it's not use beat to counter this ultimate or anything like that.
100%. What I would like to think that you guys could do with beat is do exactly what you do with the graph. Force some CDs, find an advantage, mid-fight push. Because even if you're like, well, we can't always initiate and like hard force a brawl, think of the beat as like the final straw that forces every single last cooldown that they have.
Okay.
And then your Zarya just slowly beams them down with speed and kills them. Again, now we kind of have to start from scratch here, and so we're probably gonna be beating for beating, but like, let's keep forcing, there's the push, there's the push, we kite it out. And you see it, right? How did we win? Let's look at CDs here. Ryan's already missing 1,000 shield. Regenerative burst has been used. Grenade has been used. Turret is being used. It's cost us what? 1 bubble? And look at your energy, right? So they're going to try and push. There's the wall. We still have plenty of HP. We have our amp. We have both of our BAP CDs. We actually have our Genji cooldowns get forced again. But then how do we win, right? We have our CDs, more CDs than they do, but also angles, right? You see it? They over push. And this is a great thing too. It's like you guys will see that they'll try to force a push, but if you guys kite into an angle, they will lose. Because they can't, how are they supposed to kill Genji here? Even without CDs, what can you just do?
They use walls. So
just walk line freaking walks away, right? And meanwhile, what is your Zarya doing? Just burning, right? So like there's just no way that they can actually push this. Now beats are matched, and it's GG's for them. Should be GG's. Yeah. So you guys maintain mid-range well. You used your off angles. You checked both of the boxes, and even though they used 2 ults and you only had to use 1, you see how you won, right?
So the strength of this comp is like forcing more cooldowns than you use to force them, and then just
correct.
Zarya
The strength of this composition is the ability of the Zarya to bubble people on an off angle so that they are able to do more damage. And then the strength of this composition is also that short to mid range poke.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But I can't. I struggle.
This comp in like the current patch notes.
It can work fine. It can work fine. It can work fine. I think Bastion's a little bit weaker than he was before with the no armor heal, right? I mean, he's still going to be picked a lot, and I still think Bastion is very good versus your composition. And I will be honest with you and say that a very good Rein team with a very good Mei Bastion will beat you 100% of the time. But I don't really think that's a concern for you guys, to be honest. I don't think that's something that you guys really have to worry about. Because if you execute well in this composition, this map, I think it can work. I think it'll work.
Oh, this might be the funny.
Oh yeah, it is.
Now this is what this is what I freaking hate though. There's no way that should be happening on mid range versus this composition. I know it cost them their turret form, but that's inexcusable, right? That's inexcusable. Yes.
Yeah.
It was necessary. It was necessary for sure, but that's your mistake, right? You guys should be poking, entering this fight at massive charge with full CDs, right? When your poke is costing you cooldowns, that's when you've messed up. Does that make sense?
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Especially versus this composition, because if you're playing versus like a Sigma Hanzo, yes, it would be costing you CDs, but then you should be poking versus a Sigma Hanzo, right? Too many reloads, to be honest with you. Stop trying to enter the fight at full ammo. The fight has already started.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is where your damage is very important right now. Just keep shooting. Stop. Damage. Even if it's just Rein shield. Go. Stop reloading. Keep damaging. Because like right now, just shoot. Have your Genji rotate. Have your Sojourn rotate this way with bubble. Shoot. And have the defensive CDs to be able to get out of jail. Right? Keep shooting.
I didn't know if I needed a bubble Kiba or not, if that was gonna freeze him.
I mean, we had
to make a decision there.
We needed to make a decision because if we bubbled, you had the CDs to kite this, right?
Yeah.
You had the CDs to kite this. Now I don't know what happened to your Genji, but like you had bubble here, and then you should, if your BAP hadn't controlled, should have had both of your BAP CDs right here, and then you guys are fine, right?
I had a question about that actually. A lot of the times I'll be like, okay. Now, I was completely... This wasn't one of those situations, but like a lot of times I'll be like, okay, they have beat. I want to try and force beat and like live.
Yeah.
How do you manage like getting ready to kill something if they don't beat, while at the same time like setting up an escape route if they do beat?
Abuse your neutral advantage. It's the same logic that we just talked about, where the goal is to utilize your kit without utilizing your cooldowns. So the way for you guys to force beat is for you to take off angles and abuse your range, abuse your angles. That's not going to get your CDs forced. You see what I'm saying? So it's basically, if you hold the off angle here as a Baptiste and just shoot with your Zarya, like actually playing the game like she should have been, right? And like even your Genji or Sojourn, if they don't beat, you're going to be doing more damage than them. Yes, because they're comp versus their comp, right? So what is that team going to have to do? They have two choices, right?
They either beat and they would
push,
get a big
right?
Economy advantage,
and you have all your cooldowns, right?
Yeah, or they don't beat and we're just
and they back up, and then you get free space, right? So again, the idea is that like you guys kind of did it here to where like if you're Zarya, especially if you're Zarya, actually been doing damage, like you guys kind of forced. Like look at the Rein shield, right? Like he's like look at this, look at how split they are, right? And what have you guys used? I mean, really, outside of your BAP feeding, you have pretty much all of your cooldowns. Also deflect. I'm not to be that guy, but
there it is.
You're killing me. That's why you die.
No, that's not good. That is why I died. Also, I dashed nothing.
Yeah. But like that's why this fight doesn't go poorly as it could have been, is because you guys in theory were able to just leverage your passive advantage. There's a great video by Egoist Cat on YouTube about passive advantage, where if you control off angles or positions that benefit your character, whether they're really short range off angles like a Rein comp, or really long range angles like a sniper, or medium as like a Zarya, Genji, Sojourn, you will win fights and force CDs while using none of your own. When people talk about like how do I force or how do I bait, it's all about knowing what your composition is good at and leveraging that to force CDs while you use it on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think there's a misnomer for me. A lot of times I'll just like, with Blade is the first thing I do to try and force beat and then just leave. I feel like maybe it's better to wait until like the break of the fight.
I think that's fine though. I think that's fine. But it requires that you have your CDs to get out of jail free after the Blade, right? You still have your deflag, you save that dash, right? Like you could have gone in with this with Blade and just kind of like chilled, and that would have been fine too. But the key thing there is that you guys, obviously there's like some micro mistakes about like the deflect, about like the Batiste positioning. But honestly, I think you guys could have had more of a passive advantage if you'd positioned better, if your Zarya had been doing more damage. You guys could have entered that fight even more late, forced even more CDs, made even more of a split. Maybe honestly even killed somebody before they pushed. That's 100% possible.
Now that you point that out, I think that is a terrible habit of mine. It's just constantly reloading.
Well, right. You're thinking
you're thinking 100 at
the fight
moment,
right? But any reload that happens from this point on is a troll because the fight has started for you right now.
Yeah.
Right. This is the brawl. This is the poke phase, right? That was good. That was good.
Oh yeah, he booped him up.
No, seriously. Now, why do you force this shatter and push from them? Right. Look at this Rein shield again. It's whittled down. Look at the cooldowns. There's amp. There's turret. There's grenade. Do we have a BAP shift? No, we don't. But still, like, and what have you guys used? Literally nothing. Nothing. Not a dash and bubble, right? And look at this poor. There's turret. There's everything, right? I think. Yeah, there's shift. There's shatter. There's everything, and you guys use 2 bubbles and a dash. And again, and now, it's over. They're dead, right? They're dead. Surely. No. Okay, here's the mistake. What's the mistake here?
We're not pushing hard enough into it.
Yes.
Is he grabbed far enough to the right?
Yes and no. It's the ult here. What's the problem with the ults? Well, yes and no. I don't like comboing. I like layering. The grav puts these guys at a massive disadvantage.
Like Sojourn ult now, or what?
But Sojourn ult now. Right. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because what does Sojourn do in a grav that she wouldn't just normally do with her kit? Like marginally more, right? They're all standing still anyway. You would do basically the same DPS as shooting them in the head. So my point is that you don't need the combo, right? You just need to layer better. Now I'm also curious if we're going to keep the value up. So keep poking. Yeah, see.
Whoa.
Because you go, that was lucky. But you know what? Actually, no, because they have literally nothing left, and you guys still are full HP, right? So it's like that's a cool mechanical play. But even though my prediction was slightly wrong, it wasn't totally wrong that you guys were going to be able to keep moving next space. I would have just loved if you guys had not used Sojourn ult, because you could have even used Sojourn ult now and really cooked them,
Yeah, I see what you mean. I like the phrase layering instead of comboing, because a lot of times ults will get them really low, even if you do them at the same time. But if you just did one and then the other, I can see that.
Right. Now, in theory, I want this Rein crying by the time you touch this point. Come on. You reloading, aren't you? No, wait. Maybe I doubt it. No, you're good. There it is. Easy kite. And look at your positioning as well. Do we have angles? Oh, yes, we do. See it? We can even just see it from the blackboard, This is great. So all their CDs are used just to get out of spawn. And meanwhile, you've matched CDs and gotten kills. Oh, and also gotten charge. And now what do we do? Gray, right?
Go, go, go.
Go, go, go. You don't have to push to point blank range, but we keep shooting. No pressure allowed. No respite. Don't reload. Keep shooting. Get that extra right click out. You know what I'm saying? Keep shooting, 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 keep shooting. You see it? You see how you're winning these fights? You have a passive advantage. They walk out into mid-range where you whittle them down from off angles and poke. You use your cooldowns to kite their cooldowns, and then you bounce back with your the cooldowns that you have left and with the passive advantage you've accrued. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, it's something that applies to Sigma, something that applies to Zarya. Anytime that you're playing this. Now, the reason why, obviously, you know, you don't play this kind of comp everywhere is that there are maps and there are situations and obviously metas where the ability for teams to reset and hide and not take damage is too strong. A really, really good Rein Mei team is really good at calling off engages and just totally avoiding damage entirely, if that makes sense. Or they're really good at rotating in a way to avoid damage and walk on top of you with full cooldowns, full HP. You guys get what I'm saying?
Comp, now that you've seen us play, would you recommend with a team that had like Rein Mei Sim and was really good at kiting?
As in
Or
you guys,
Sigma?
like you, how would you guys play it? Like, I'm not sure I understand the question fully.
Just like you know, you're saying earlier that a good Rein Mei comp would probably beat this comp. You know, what kind of comp would you recommend? Now
Running into that?
play, you know our hero pools a little. At least a little bit.
I mean, the easiest thing, I don't know what y'all's hero pools are, but like I can tell you the optimal thing is like they will go Rein Mei Bastion to beat Zarya. So then you have two solutions. If the map allows for Sigma, you can mirror but run Sigma instead. And that could do okay. You'll struggle versus the Reinhardt, but you'll probably do better versus their DPS than their Rein will.
Yeah, makes sense.
Or you could also pull the Boston shenanigans and go Orisa on short range maps. Because if you don't want to play a Rein of your own, you can go Orisa. And you said your Orisa is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
You can run Orisa.
Rein.
Yeah, so the Orisa is good because she is like, she could put a little bit of pressure on Rein earlier, but the Orisa is like the better Rein dive tank, basically. So like you use your CDs to find opportunities to dive backline, essentially. And you can, you know, javelin spin it, you know, and then fortify and then just walk onto Baptiste or walk onto Bastion. That works really well with the Genji, actually, because you have help during that dive. Make sense?
Yeah.
And then you can run like a Bastion of your own to keep their Rein honest. But, you know, I think it depends. I think like it obviously it's a pretty complicated, like a little bit of shenanigans there. But I think more than anything else, focus on the execution.
Herc plays a lot of Bastion. He's pretty good at Bastion.
Okay. Well, then it can work. Like Orisa, Bastion, Genji, I think is pretty good versus what they're running here. I think the way that you guys played this comp was pretty good too. But yeah. Okay. Any questions, y'all?
I had one. I'm trying to remember it.
Take time. If you can't come up with it, you can always message me directly. Don't worry.
Okay.
I also play Genji, so I just wanted to ask, what comps would you never play Genji into? Like on the enemy team?
I think like full flyer comps, like Echo Mercy, Pharmacy, can be rough. Because it basically just removes a person that you can't really off-angle off of. Because the advantage of Genji is that, like, even if you're playing Genji into, like, Sim Mei, right? You have, like, a pretty decent ult with team follow-up, right? And the weaknesses of Symmetra Mei is that they can never, like, take, like, good off-angles versus a Genji, right? So that, like, while you can't really assassinate them easily, you can always hold any off-angle that you want versus immobile heroes, right? That's like one of the biggest things that like lower rank, plat rank, mid rank Genjis figure out in ranked is that like, yeah, you can't beat the Symmetra Mei in a 1v1 necessarily, but you could also take any off angle just to distract the enemy team permanently, right? But if you're playing into a Pharmacy, like you really can't take any off angle you want, right? You can't duel anybody, you can't control any space. So I think flyer comp's not very good. And for Genji, I think it's more about the map than about the composition. So you can hold like, you benefit a lot from verticality in terms of your positioning, right? But if the map doesn't have a lot of verticality, then there's not a lot of benefit out of playing Genji, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think Genji is pretty flexible. There might be better heroes than Genji, but like he's pretty flexible.
So for our scrim tonight, what should be the core things we should work on or
Great
aim
question.
to improve?
Great question. And I'm going to message Milk the list of points of focus. You tell me, what are the points of focus? Talked about a lot.
I need to stop reloading. That I didn't realize that was that bad.
Yeah.
As a team, just playing our ranges properly. Layering ultimates. I don't think we've ever really even thought of something
Yeah,
like that.
that was definitely a really good tip, because a lot of times we use 2 ults at the same time, and like one cooldown can counter both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I will stop deflecting at the joke, unless there's a window.
Mm-hmm.
I think trying, you're talking a lot about like cooldown exchanges, and I think the strength of that comp is trying to force cooldowns with like as little of your own as possible, and then just like going back in afterwards. So I think that's a good takeaway, is trying to bait those engages with just like bubble dive or just double dash or
I think
whatever.
staying in effective range and just doing damage at all times is
Mm-hmm.
probably the most. That seems like the most important one. That'll win a lot of fights.
Applies to Sigma as well, right?
Yeah, same with Sigma. Like,
I remember my question. I was going to talk about alt usage. I mentioned earlier, like, how do you know when a fight is won or lost? And obviously, there's no like surefire way. But sometimes it feels like I have this thing where we'll have like 4 ults, and we'll be so paranoid to over ult that we'll just like lose the fight, because we think it's over, and then they just come back with some crazy shenanigans. It's not. It's such an open ended question, but like, how do you know when they're like well and truly down and out? Is it just cool?
Well, you tell me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right there. You see how many times we were able to like make reads based off of the status of cooldowns that they had.
Yeah.
I think getting better at cooldown tracking can help as well. But if you want the really, really cheap, lazy answer, if it's a 4v5, use it. Or 5v4, use it. It's okay to use an ultimate in a 5v4 just to guarantee the fight win. Totally fine.
I think we've been, and this is just me too, like a little too stingy, because there was a lot of times, it wasn't this scrim, but like previous scrims, where we would have a lot of ults and lose because we didn't want to overall. We were trying to use as little ults as possible, but like, yeah, sometimes you just got to use them.
Yep.
All right. I think that was my last question.
Sure. Any other points of focus?
Do you have any questions, Milk? Or anything?
I think most of mine have been answered.
Okay.
I think there were a lot of details about like how CDs are being used, maybe the Sigma versus Reinhardt. But I think you guys need to try and always consider like, what is the range of our compositional matchup? Do we take advantage from better range? Do we take advantage from better off angles and so on? Yep. And then making decisions based off of that information.
Yeah, I like your phrase, like black, white, and gray.
Yes.
That's a good way to think about it. That kind of informed me a lot about this.
Because the funny thing is that like Zarya versus Sigma, you are now the black and white characters. Even if you are like, let's say you're a really high charge Zarya, you can poke a little bit. But up until that point, you're a little bit more cooldown reliant than say the Sigma, right? So you're a little bit more on during bubbles, a little bit more off without bubbles, if that makes sense. But I think it's just about like relying on CDs or relying on non-CDs. And the goal is how simple can you structure things in your brain prior to the team fight happening, so that when you're going in, you know exactly what you're practicing, right? And remember, that kind of ties back into the ego thing there, is that like you guys are like, oh, I feel like we have so much better understanding. I promise you, once you try to apply these things in scrims, you guys are going to be really slow and probably make a lot of mistakes. You have to be willing to accept that if you want to improve.
Yeah, that's what scrims are for.
That's what scrims are for. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you go, 0-4 for like the next, 4 scrims versus 4.1K teams with a Symmetra and Mercy one trick. Like you have to be willing to take the L to figure things out. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I had one more quick one.
Please.
It was kind of about that Streets fight where we used grab before they used any cooldowns.
Yep.
I noticed they had Blizzard. How do you avoid just getting like out ulted first? Because
I want.
Oh, sorry.
No. I'm interrupting you. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it feels like they had a hard rush, and if we waited to use grab like too long, they would have just blizzarded. But if we grabbed too early,
question.
any value.
Great question.
Sweet spot.
Great question. What would have happened if you guys had grabbed and spammed into that grab without using any cooldowns? What would they have done?
Maybe
cooldowns.
Blizzard.
They would have used their Blizzard, and they probably would have used a lot of cooldowns.
Lost their shield.
So then, what would you guys have done in response?
Probably just
Engage.
on them. Yeah.
Just
Pop your cooldowns, right?
yeah.
To
And then
just
maybe
search
use
your
blade
side.
afterwards. instead of-
Right. So, the funny thing is we've been obsessing about like we don't want to use our ultimates early because they're going to still have CDs. Well, what if you use an ultimate in place of CDs?
Yeah. Okay.
What if you use a grab to force CDs so that then you can actually kill them afterwards? Because think about the bash and deflect, right? You did not use an ultimate to get that kill. You used an ultimate to force their CDs so that then your cooldowns afterwards could get the kill. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you can
That's
actually
a good way.
use an ultimate to force CDs so that you can use your CDs afterwards to actually secure the kill.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
you
that
could
makes sense.
you could use like a BAP window, force all their CDs, and then force lamp, force shift. Let's say it's a mirror, right? BAP window, they've used all their CDs. Guys, let's push in with our lamp. Push in with our BAP shift. Push in with our Zarya bubbles. You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
A grab is a great ultimate along with flux because it's so easy to land and get value that you don't necessarily need to like set it up like the perfect. So like a grab in that situation actually would probably be fine. If we flux early, grab early, BAP window early, it's very easy to force CDs to those ultimates without getting people killed. So actually the grab was fine. The blade was not.
Yeah.
That's
that
kind of the
makes
main
sense.
takeaway. Right. Makes sense?
Yeah. So you ult early to put them on the back foot.
Yeah. You put yourself at a passive advantage. You just use a Q to force all of their CDs, and then you have a free win con afterwards. Or you force their ultimates panically in response, and you're just like, get rolled. Because like if you're like, okay, we traded grab for mail, that's not a great trade, but did you really? You traded grab for
You also
mail
traded
and
it for-
lamp and shift
Yeah,
and wall
and-
and turret,
yeah,
right?
Shield.
Right. And now your Zarya's entering that fight at a there's more gray. You're buying yourself more gray time as well.
Yeah, and
Um,
if BAP use both cooldowns, that's just a free bubble blade.
Yeah, if you even need a blade at that point. That's the funny thing.
Yeah,
the
true.
irony is that if you guys had grabbed there and not used anything else, you probably would have won that fight easier
Yeah, that's
than if
probably
you had
true.
grab bladed. That's the funny thing. Because the grab
So
blade
there-
meant as some form of a commit when you really couldn't commit that early.
Yeah, and they had Blizzard to just kill me. The
Uh-huh.
layering ult is a really good idea. I really like that.
It's a very, 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 very important one. It was actually one it's been part of Overwatch for a long time, but it's part of the reason why London Spitfire did really well in the JQ comp last year was the layering. Because that was something that we got in really early. Because think about it, shout, rally, beat, you know what I'm saying? There were
Yeah,
so
you
many
found a
ways
lot
of like countering ultimates and Suzu too, right? Wait, was Suzu? No, there wasn't Suzu at the time yet, right? So there was like three different ways of like dealing with ultimates. So if you like, pop Sojourn ult and shouted in, we would just shout out, and there's your ultimate wasted, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
what we did is we would shout in, they shout, we Sojourn, they beat, we win the fight.
It's like your lasagna video. I did watch that.
That's where that came from. That's where the lasagna word came from, is me coaching London. I would call it lasagna. They all made fun of me. But it worked. So it worked. And the funny thing is that meta was also where we developed the idea, or I really worked on my understanding of passive advantage, because the Toronto Defiant that season were really good at the JQ comp early because they were super good at angles with Decay. And who was it? Hisu and Sojourn? I can't remember.
Yeah,
He was.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. But their Sojourn and Genji were super good at taking off angles like consistently, and they basically force CDs by just their positioning without using cooldowns. And so they'd always enter fights at a man advantage, or a cooldown at advantage, just through sheer positioning, essentially. So that was a
that's
very
really powerful advantage to have, because if things domino effect, you're just gonna win.
Yeah, I find mirrors to be very instructive in like fundamental macro, because sometimes it's easy when you're like focusing on like non-mirrors, like focus on the compositional matchup. But there's like a lot of like really strong fundamentals to learn if you're just looking at a mirror versus mirror. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.